All right, welcome to Geared Up from GeekWire.com in Seattle. I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
We have a lot to talk about, some breaking news, new products.
Yes.
Apple just acquired Shazam, the music
huge.
discovery app.
Big.
Is it
It's
big?
big.
Okay, we're going to be talking about that because I'm not sure it's that big.
It's big.
All right, Google Home Max is just out today. This is Google's big entry into high-end audio.
Is it big?
Well, it's Max.
It's big.
That's big. Plus, Microsoft and its PC partners come out with a new line of machines, convertible tablets.
New class, right?
New class, really, that are always connected, really making your PC more like a smartphone. Plus, Alexa has a new trick that makes her a little bit more like a traditional alarm clock.
Right. I want to hear about this because you love anything new Alexa can do.
It's kind of neat. You get this device in your home and suddenly she improves and,
Yes.
and gets better.
Yes.
I'm even starting to
complain.
use the gender pronoun. I've finally started doing that. I guess,
Did it used to be it?
yeah, it.
No,
Yeah, it's
okay.
a
Now
device.
she.
It's a thing. It's an AI, but I guess I'm finally converting. Don't forget, subscribe to Geared Up wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Geared Up on the Apple Podcast Store or wherever you get your
Stitcher.
shows. Stitcher.
Google Play Music. It's everywhere.
You can get links to everywhere you can subscribe at geekwire.com/geared up. Okay, without further ado, our first story, Shazam.
The big Shazam story. Yes.
So Shazam is, for people who don't know, the music discovery app. And I have some fond memories of this because this app really was one of the first ways you could surprise and impress somebody with a smartphone who wasn't familiar with apps.
Right.
This whole idea of music fingerprinting, this app recognizes the signature of the song and then tells you what the song is about. And of course, Shazam has gotten into a lot of other things beyond that. They sort of
Right.
extend that into music purchasing. Apple has now acquired Shazam for a reported purchase price of as much as $400 million.
A lot of money.
Less, though, than Shazam was valued at its most recent funding, which was $1 billion, which
What?
means that investors, as they say, took a haircut on this one, if those valuations are true.
Okay.
But from a Apple perspective, what's the significance of this acquisition?
I mean, we don't know what they're doing, obviously. We can only infer based on their current businesses. And so the most obvious to me would be Siri. It's interesting. People say Siri doesn't improve fast enough, and then Apple makes a purchase like this, and then I see people complaining, Siri sucks. Why would they even add this to it? They're trying to solve the first complaint you had by doing the second thing. So having Shazam built in as a Siri, extension or whatever you want to call it is interesting. Just ask Siri. You can actually do it today, though. You can ask Siri, what song is this? And it'll answer. But I think it probably uses Shazam on the back end to accomplish that. That brings up the question, though, does Shazam go away for Android? Does it
Very
go
good
away
question.
for Google, Assistant?
What's your bet based on past practice with Apple?
My bet would be it does not go away because when Apple acquired Beats Music, which they turned into Apple Music, they still have that for Android too. You can download from the Google Store on Android Apple Music if you want to. But we don't know. This is just me taking a guess. And then the other thing is Apple Music itself. Like Shazam, obviously, or maybe even iTunes as a whole, because Shazam will also not just do music fingerprinting, but you could hold it up and say, what show am I watching? And it'll tell you from the audio of the TV show, oh, this is the show, this is the episode, this is the synopsis of this episode. So it could be something they're trying to tie in for iTunes content, so not just music, but also Apple Music as a service. And, if you buy TV shows or the long rumored upcoming TV subscription service that Apple may be doing. And then there's also the HomePod that got delayed. You don't buy a company for $400 million and just decide to do it like 3 days ago, right?
Right.
So there was due diligence happening and everything. Was that possibly involved in the delay of the HomePod? They were trying to get this closed, and is Shazam going to be somehow integrated there with that speaker? I don't know, but it's very exciting.
Very interesting. So one of the things that Shazam has done is really, as you said, incorporate into that TV experience. And one of the things that they tried is, for example, hold up your phone during a commercial.
Yes.
And then that fingerprint from the sound of the commercial takes you to someplace inside the app on Shazam.
Some sort of ad
it's almost
or
like a
deal.
redirect
Yeah.
kind of. So in some ways you can think of Shazam as not just a music discovery app, but a bridge between audio and digital.
Yeah, it's like an audible hyperlink.
Yeah.
Right? Like you hold it up and it takes you to a destination in some cases, which is cool. Now I'm curious though, what did you first think? Like those were my initial thoughts of how can Apple use this? What are they trying to do here? What were your thoughts?
My first thought was something that'll probably reveal my age, and it's not very germane to the actual technology discussion,
Okay.
but I thought, clearly, and I'm saying this somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but clearly the passing of Jim Nabors, Gomer Pyle, who is famous for the phrase Shazam, cleared the way from an IP perspective. So Apple actually felt comfortable making this acquisition because they weren't going to have any IP claims from Jim Nabors.
Now, unfortunately, I have no clue who that is. So
You weren't like a Andy Griffith fan growing
Andy
up?
Griffith, is that the black and white TV show that would come on every week? Because if so, that was before my time.
All right. Well, we're crossing generations here, apparently. At any rate, that's my somewhat
So you have no
facetious-
real thoughts on this though?
No, my first
other
thought-
than Gomer Pyle?
No, my first thought was exactly what I said. I do believe that this is a bridge between the audio world and the physical world, and increasingly the world is going audio with voice
Yes.
assistants. And if you can connect that audio, whether it's from Alexa or Siri or anybody else, to a digital redirect, I think there's power
Right.
in that. I don't know how much intellectual property Shazam actually has in terms of patents,
Yeah.
but this could put Apple in an interesting position to leverage the engineering talent at Shazam, not only for the actual Shazam app, but for that bridge between the audio and the
that's
digital
interesting.
worlds.
So we don't know, like you said, about the patents, but if there is some sort of digital audio fingerprinting, or if they can push the tech further into fingerprinting our individual voices, again with
Right.
the HomePod, okay, this is Todd in the room, this is Andrew speaking, this is so-and-so speaking. There's a lot that can be here that's not at the surface. It's not about just identifying songs.
Right. This is not so much about the Shazam app as it is about, I believe, the Shazam R&D and the potential to build that into
Staff.
Apple products and services. Exactly. So that was my actual serious thought.
There you go.
After my
There you go.
initial
I
Gomer
appreciate
Pyle.
that.
It is very coincidental. Jim Nabors just passed away.
Yeah,
And here
there
a
you go.
week later, Apple makes the acquisition of Shazam, his big catchphrase. But obviously that is nothing that's actually related. All right, so that is Apple acquiring Shazam for a reported $400 million, which is quite a chunk of change.
Yes, not confirmed though, right? That's not a confirmed
that
number.
number is not confirmed.
Okay.
But for context, Apple bought Beats for about $3 billion back in 2014.
$3 billion?
$3 billion, at least according to the source I'm reading right here.
Yeah.
And just to put that in context, Apple's acquisition of Turi, the machine learning company based here in Seattle, was about $200 million.
Okay.
So it's about twice that amount for
Yeah.
Shazam, if these reports are accurate.
Right. Beats though, that was the big one.
Yeah, that was,
That was
the
the
big
big
one.
one.
Yeah. Shazam is the biggest one since the Beats acquisition. So
That's crazy.
all right, let's move on to our next topic.
What do we
Andrew,
got?
you were
Ooh.
actually in Hawaii,
I was.
not to go to the beach,
No.
but to cover a new product category
That's
from
correct.
Microsoft and its PC partners called Always Connected PCs.
Yes.
We covered this on GeekWire as well, although not from the sandy beaches of, where were you, Maui?
Right, in Maui. That's correct.
Tough assignment, I know.
Yeah. I mean, hey, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're complaining about." No, it's like it's work. When you're out there covering these things, if you want to cover things properly, right? You're out there trying to get the story, trying to make your content. You're not on the beach the whole time. I was there for 7 days. I didn't go to the beach until the day before I left.
So these new devices, which I know you got tons of time with because you were not on the beach,
That's right.
they promise extended battery life,
Yeah.
persistent connectivity. In some cases, they're saying up to a week of battery life, although that must not be with constant use.
Yeah, the battery life is roughly 20 hours. This is Gen 1. So these are powered by Snapdragon 835 processors, the ones that were announced. And obviously, at the same event, the 845 was also announced, which is similar, if you want to think of it as a jump in processing power. It's similar to when Apple, last year they had the A10 processor, and now they have the A11 Bionic processor. So this is Qualcomm's new Snapdragon processor powering PCs, which is crazy,
Right.
Because these are not x86 processors; they're ARM processors.
Right. So let's sort of break that down a little bit. So Intel and Microsoft traditionally make the x86
Yes.
platform, which in most PCs you're going to find. They're traditional.
x86 or x64.
Yeah, traditional PC processors.
Yes.
Qualcomm and the Snapdragon line is more traditionally their ARM processors. They're
Right.
found in phones.
Correct.
And the whole idea is they're not taking as much energy to run. So they're very battery efficient, which is where you start to get these very long battery lives for PCs. And so here you have Microsoft really pushing the envelope with partners including Lenovo and HP and Asus to create PCs that in some ways act more like phones in that they have long battery life and they're always connected with 4G LTE.
Right. And so what you end up with is and remember, like when Windows used to run on ARM, it was RT.
Right.
Your favorite Surface
RT
ever was the Surface RT, right? Instead of having a dumbed down Windows experience, these are running full Windows.
Yep.
Windows 10, Windows 10S, you can upgrade it to Windows 10 Pro, just like, any other PC. They are tablet form factors, at least the ones that have been announced so far. But the thing is you get the great battery life. Again, 20 hours, that's 20 hours in use. So if you're not using it, then you have the, super long standby time. You can turn on this PC in New York on your plane, fly all the way to Tokyo, use this PC the entire time, and not even have to worry about plugging it in once. And this is real world scenario. This isn't like, turning the screen down to 10% and, it's actually using it as any person would use it. It's instant on. So just like your smartphone, when you pick up your smartphone, you just tap the on button, it just boom, pops up. It's just like that, which you don't really see on computers. You hit the power button, you have to wait a while. It comes up, enter your password. So I'm actually very impressed. I mean, you see here, it's a tablet form factor once again, and on the outside, when looking at this one in particular, the HP Envy X2, it has an accessory that gives it the more, traditional laptop feel with a kickstand and a keyboard. But, the question I had after seeing this was, these get released. You go to Best Buy or wherever you buy your stuff. Are you going to the computer laptop section to shop for these? Are they in the mobile phone section? Is it a truly new category where they're in their own section themselves? Like,
these are
where
still
do you
PCs.
see these fitting?
These are still PCs.
So you see it as more PC than phone?
Absolutely, yeah. I think people will still look at them largely as flexible utilitarian budget PCs because like Asus and the Nova Go, that's going to start at $600 for a machine with 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. So I look at that and I go, okay, yeah, it feels more like a souped up netbook in a lot of ways. And granted, this is something that is leveraging the latest processor. I mean, you're not getting a dumbed down machine here. That said, it still feels in that netbook category. So I think a lot of stores and buyers will still think of it in that way.
Although there is the one extra thing to think about, always connected PC, what that implies is, or not implies, what it means is that these are truly like phones. They are always connected to a mobile service. You have to have a mobile data plan for these, similar to your smartphone. So whether it's T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, etc., these devices are meant to always have a connection. And they being powered by the latest Qualcomm processors means they're able to use gigabit LTE. And gigabit LTE is much faster than what we're used to today. So this is actually really cool because, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've certainly noticed this over the past couple of years. It used to be when I had my smartphone and I went somewhere, I was always trying to find the Wi-Fi because the cell data was always slow. And sometime in the last couple of years, that behavior has switched to where I find Wi-Fi and I join it, and I end up saying I need to disconnect from this Wi-Fi because the LTE is actually faster.
That happens
than
to me
Wi-Fi.
at home sometimes.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So now you're going to actually have, today, in this day and age, a fast connection, and you don't have to be hunting for Wi-Fi. This is great.
My one negative on this is I still don't see the tablets that convert into pseudo laptops as a really valid use case. I know you can do it.
It's not a true.
It still feels like a little bit of a toy to me, honestly.
And it's the form factor you're saying.
Yes, the form factor.
So if they had a clamshell, the more typical
a regular
traditional
notebook
laptop, you would be more akin to using something like that than the tablet.
Right. For example, one thing we have not yet seen is Lenovo's entry into this.
We'll see that at CES.
I'm a huge fan of the ThinkPad. If they were to take a ThinkPad and apply these principles to it, to me, that would be just like
That's the computer to get.
I'm ready to go with that.
Right.
I mean, I'm already, Claire McGrain on our team has a wonderful ThinkPad over there, and I like sit there and I'm jealous of it. That I'm already a big fan of Lenovo. So if they were to be able to say, okay, and you get 20 hours of battery life,
Right.
Plus persistent connectivity when you go to the airport, you don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
it. To me, that starts to be more of a game changer than a tablet that can kind of act like a PC.
Yeah. I got you. And it's also interesting, though, the power in these mobile processors, both from not just Qualcomm, but also Apple. Like, when you look at the processor that's inside the latest iPhone 10 and you compare it to the processor in the latest MacBook, so not the Pro, but just the MacBook, the mobile processor beats it. Like, it's faster. It does the math that processors do faster. So you're actually getting something that's more efficient, but you're not really losing power. And I think that's something that people may not realize. And I think, seeing this come out from the PC world, to me, is a big enough deal to wonder, are we going to see Apple release an A-series processor powered MacBook or MacBook
They
Air?
could do it all in-house.
Right. They can do it all in-house. And again, have it powered, super
It would be
long
the
battery
MacBook Air.
life.
It would be the MacBook Air.
Super long battery life without, skimping on power
Oh, that
processing.
makes total
It's
sense.
so cool.
Yeah.
So this is what a time to be alive.
All right. So HP's NVX2 will be available in spring of next year. We're still waiting to see what the Lenovo device will look like.
Yes.
But those are Microsoft and its partners' new Windows 10 always
Yes.
connected PCs that Andrew went to Maui to see and did not go to the beach for.
I didn't go to the beach to see them. This was a Snapdragon Summit. It was an announcement of the always connected PC, and then the next day was the announcement of the Snapdragon 845, which, again, it's just really cool as someone who loves tech to see what tiny processors in smartphones and mobile technology are able to do versus, even just 3 years ago. Phones, it's crazy what we can do today with our phones that we couldn't do just a few years ago.
All right, we will be right back with Alexa's new trick. You're listening to Geared Up. All right, welcome back to Geared Up. It is time for the National Car Rental Story of the Week.
Yes, sir. And today we're focusing on a demo of one of your favorite products in the world. I feel like you are Alexa's best friend, although sometimes you're yelling at her.
Yes.
You have a very contentious relationship.
Yeah, so, isn't that sort of like what everybody's relationship with Alexa is
With
like?
or any AI, right?
Oh,
Bixby.
I got to tell you, I had the greatest moment.
Uh-oh.
We were watching a TV show about the Country Music Awards and sort of one of those DVD sales, and Ronnie Millsap came up and he was wearing sunglasses. And this is maybe perhaps a little bit un-PC, but he was wearing sunglasses. You know Ronnie Millsap?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm like, who was this guy?
Sorry, so between Jim Nabors and Ronnie Millsap, I'm going for the over 60 crowd here. But at any rate, he was wearing sunglasses. I was like, wait a second. Did Ronnie Millsap lose his sight at one point? And I yelled across the room. My wife and I were arguing about it. And I yelled across the room, Alexa, is Ronnie Millsap blind?
Yes. Ronnie Millsap is blind.
I was
Okay.
like, whoa, what a useful piece of information.
That was interesting.
She she gave me the answer to that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, he wasn't just being cool with his sunglasses. At any rate, Alexa,
Yes.
she actually answered a question that I had.
Right.
Which is rare, I find,
Oh.
among voice assistants.
Yes.
In general.
Do you find Alexa to be activating more often these days when you don't mean for it to be activated? Because I feel like almost
Yes.
once an hour, she just chimes into our conversation nowadays.
Yes, absolutely. Just sort of
Like we weren't asking you anything.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that,
Yes.
or whatever she might say. Okay, so the new feature that we're spotlighting this week that just came out
Yes.
is the ability to use Alexa as a clock radio.
As a clock radio.
radio alarm.
Okay, so clarify for me, because I feel like we've talked about in the past that you could use Alexa as a timer
An alarm.
and alarm.
But now you can use it as you would a traditional clock radio by your bedside
With music.
with music.
Oh,
So, for example,
okay.
we'll set this. Alexa, set an alarm for 2:17 p.m. to the song that goes, I've paid my dues time after time.
What?
Alarm set for 2:17 p.m. to We Are the Champions, remastered 2011 on Amazon Music.
All right,
What?
so that's in about a minute here. So it's going to kick. If this works, it's
That's
going to kick
crazy.
in. So she recognized the song lyric.
Right. You just said a couple of lyrics or just one lyric. Hey,
Yeah.
the song that does this.
Yeah, basically. And who doesn't want to wake up to Queen in the morning?
No one. Come on. Come on.
So we'll see when it
That's
turns
an
to
old reference
217.
that I can actually appreciate.
Okay. Yeah, gosh, I am feeling really old on this show. I swear to God, I listen to Taylor Swift all the time. So,
Look at that.
there it is.
Look at that.
There it is. So there you have it.
How crazy.
Yeah. So I think that was fair use right there.
Yeah, right. Just 3 seconds or less. But no, I mean, that's actually cool. So it wasn't even just here's a radio station, which most clock radios are. You can set your station,
right,
and it wakes you up. It could be a commercial.
Exactly.
This is here's a song I want to wake up to.
Yes.
Do you have to have a paid subscription for this, or like?
No, this just works. It's a new feature of Alexa.
No, I know, but you asked for a specific song.
Oh yes. So it works with Amazon Music, which comes natively with the Echo devices and with Alexa, Spotify, Pandora, TuneIn, SiriusXM, and iHeartRadio.
Wow.
So lots of choices. So you can.
So if you're an Apple Music user, you're out. But if you're an Alexa owner, you have access to the Amazon Music, not the full Amazon Music, but like
not the paid subscription Amazon Music, but if you just have Amazon Prime, you have a base level of music,
and any of those songs
Amazon
would
Music.
be
Yeah.
usable here. That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that. We were. My wife and I were talking last night, and she was saying she never brings this up with me, just with me personally. Like it has to be with company. She's like, he has the most annoying alarm. And she's like, when I have to wake up and he's still sleeping, I have like my phone under my pillow and it just goes off. And when he's sleeping, it like basically wakes up the whole house. And I'm like, well, that's the alarm that was built in to the phone.
So it wakes up. Do you like pipe it in through your smart home, or what do you do?
It's just like I don't put my phone under my pillow for my alarm. I have it like on the desk, so I have to get up. You know, that's how it makes me wake up. Like I have to get up and go get it. But being able to play a specific song that you know isn't something that's like jarring, right? Because most alarms are jarring. They want you to wake up. Being able to play a more, soothing song or whatever, that's very cool.
Combine this with like one of those sunrise clocks.
Oh yeah,
that'd be pretty cool. I mean, you could wake up to I don't know, it's a wonderful world or something like that. Like be really optimistic.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sun comes up,
there it is.
Even though it's 30 degrees
that.
Dark outside.
I like that. Free update. It's not even something you have to update. In case you don't know, if you own an Alexa, you basically, since Alexa's always going to the cloud for the commands you ask for, all the updates happen on Amazon's side. So you don't even have to like look for an update for. If you own one, it has this feature.
But as long as we're talking about bedside clocks, clearly this was designed in part with the Echo Spot in mind. So this comes out a week before the official release of Echo Spot.
We are updating you guys
on the Echo Spot. So
last week we said it was delayed.
Well, we said that it was sold out.
Sold out, right.
Sold out, which is true. But we talked about it in the context of the delay of Apple's HomePod,
right,
which technically was delayed.
Yes, it is.
The first people who ordered the Echo Spot will still get that on the release date of December 19th.
Okay.
It just happens to be that the people who are ordering now and as of last week is not coming in time for the holidays. So it's essentially sold out, which is different than a delay.
Right. True. I got you.
So, all right. So,
did you order one?
Yes, I ordered 2. I also ordered the new Echo Gadget device, the Echo buttons.
Oh yeah,
which I'm hoping to have in time for next week's show.
Okay.
So,
your Spot is coming before the holidays or after?
After the holidays. When is yours coming?
I did not even order one because once we talked about the delayed shipping, I was like, I'm just going to wait. You get upset about it.
Yes.
If I can't get it when everyone else does it, I'm not going to get it at all.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
You just end up hurting yourself.
Yeah, I ordered 2. We'll see when they get here.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about it on Geared Up. Of course, the Echo Spot is the bedside small version of the Echo Show.
This is like one of the most exciting Echo devices that they've announced. This is cool.
But remember, it was not working at the product unveiling.
That's true.
It was a demo device.
It was a demo reel playing on the display.
All right. So that is the new Alexa alarm clock. Whoops. Just activated her again. That is the new Alexa alarm clock feature that will wake you up to music of your choice.
Yes.
And that is the National Car Rental Story of the Week.
There you have it.
Big thanks to National Car Rental for sponsoring Geared Up. All right. Let's move on to our last story.
All right. What do we got?
This is the Google Home Max.
Speaking of speakers.
Yes.
This is the big one. This was
just
announced,
released today.
It just released today. This was announced at Google's major annual I/O event a few months. It feels like it was a couple months ago at least. It took a while for this to be released, but they didn't delay theirs.
No, that's
they're
right.
shipped.
Unlike HomePod, this is here.
It's here and it's ready to be used. I didn't see any reviews on this though. It's interesting. It seems like what they did here was release it and like just almost quietly. Like there was no big press release or anything about how this was available. I actually saw it last night on I don't know if it was Best Buy's website or like one of those stores. It was just like, hey, you can order this now.
But to your point, here's the beginning of CNET's quote review of the story.
Let's see.
They say, one thing's for sure, Google's new premium smart speaker produces powerful sound. To be fair, we were in a pretty small room in the company's headquarters in Mountain View, California, and we had the volume turned up. Still, after a brief demo, they came away mostly impressed. So this is not a full review.
Yeah, not at all.
Google brought them into headquarters for more of a controlled experience.
Yeah.
Which is a bit of a red flag, isn't it?
That is I mean, to me, yes, because usually with things like this, you ship the speaker. Like when Sonos, another smart home speaker maker, they ship the speaker to you so you can review it in the context of where you would typically listen to stuff, because that's where it matters. It doesn't matter how it sounds in a room on Google's headquarters. It matters how it sounds in my living room or my kitchen or, my office. And so I'm curious, like, why there was not much fanfare behind the launch here. And also, Google has been seemingly having issues with their hardware lately.
Like what?
The Pixel 2
Yeah.
display had some issues at launch. The Pixel Buds, everyone who's been reviewing those have been saying that they're not, as cool or as hip or really as functional as Google had made them out to be. And now we have the Google Home Max, which is just, there hasn't been any significant. It just seems like here it is. Like it just came out of nowhere.
So what are the main selling points for this speaker? Because it's $400. This is not a cheap device.
Right. It's expensive. I mean, I think the money all ties into the sound experience. So because as far as the smart features go, it's the same as the Google Home or Google Home Mini.
It's the Google Assistant inside.
Yeah, Google Assistant, and that's obviously the Google Home Mini doesn't cost that much money. It's like $50 or $60. So this is really all about the sound. If you want a great speaker, supposedly, I haven't used one yet, so I'm going off of their messaging. If you want a great speaker that can fill a room with loud sound, bass, treble, no distortion, that would be this. And it also happens to have the Google Assistant built in, so you can ask for specific songs. You can ask it, trivia, anything you could do with an Alexa, within reason, because Alexa's has the most integrations in it. But it's similar to that. It's basically like a very powerful, high-end speaker that you can talk to and request things from.
Okay, just out today for people who are looking for high-end audio with the intelligent assistant inside. Should they go for the Sonos with Alexa inside or the Google Home Max with Assistant inside?
The answer there is a little bit more tricky, and the reason is because Sonos, the smart speaker they have is the Sonos One, so they haven't upgraded the Sonos Play 3 or the Play 5, and the Google Home Max would be more similar to the Play 5. So as far as the sound, like music goes, again, I haven't tried it yet, but the Google Home Max would be the better speaker for music. If you wanted, the Sonos One is fantastic. I've used that. It's a great device. It sounds really good, but the smaller speaker just is going to lose compared to the larger speaker at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
But Sonos also is Alexa versus Google Assistant. So that's the other thing to consider if one of those matters to you over the other.
Absolutely. All right. Good stuff. I learned a lot this week, Andrew.
Yeah, me too.
Anything else you want to teach me this time?
I'm going to teach you, listen. So I went on that trip we talked about.
Yeah,
Snapdragon
I wondered
Summit,
if you were going
right?
to talk about this.
I know. I was like, should I talk about this?
How'd the airport experience go
It's
for
business travel. By the way, again, National Car Rental, targeted towards business travel. Thank them for sponsoring. But business travel can be very hectic and annoying sometimes. And one of the annoying things is the TSA. I'm not a big fan of the TSA because I feel like they're more of a nuisance than anything. So I check my bag, which I hate doing. And in fact, I've known my wife now for about 9 years. And in those 9 years, I've probably checked a bag during travel 6 times. I hate checking your bag because you never know what they're going to do to your bag. But when I have to bring my camera equipment, like if I have to bring enough of it, there's no way I can put it in a carry-on. So I'm forced to check a bag, right? But when I'm forced to check a bag full of expensive things, I'm really hoping that things go well. So I land in Maui and my bag comes out on the carousel completely unzipped. Like open, not even like half unzipped. It was like we unzipped it. There was a sheet of paper in there that said, "Hey, we're TSA and we needed to, go through your bag and for security purpose, make sure like everything was cool because there's a lot of batteries in there and hardware in there." But they didn't zip it back up. So during travel between the 3,000 miles or whatever it is between Seattle and Maui, stuff fell out of the bag. Expensive things like camera lenses, GoPro Hero, Black 6, my MacBook Pro. I'm there with my laptop to work, and my MacBook Pro charger's gone.
It's just disappeared.
Yes.
Thanks to the TSA.
Yes. Lip balm gone. Come on. You're in the tropics. You need your lip balm. So now I have to do the whole claim process, and hopefully they reimburse me, but it's annoying.
Yeah.
So
Well, keep us posted.
words of wisdom.
Don't check your
Don't
bags.
check your bags. Don't check your bag.
Good takeaway. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Todd Bishop.
I'm Andrew Edwards.
Thanks for listening to Geared Up.
Thanks for listening to Geared Up, the weekly tech and gadget podcast. Check out more of Andrew's reviews at youtube.com/gearlive and follow all of our coverage at geekwire.com.